One thing I just want to quickly discuss. In that interview, obviously, it's huge now, isn't it? Because of what Molly Mae said
trending everywhere
about the 24-hour thing. What's your perspective on that?
It is tricky because the way she said it didn't the way it was taken didn't come across well.
Right.
Because not everybody comes from that place of like having that. Like I've come from like a sort of semi-privileged background in that like I went to a good school and like I had a good education, but at the same time like I didn't have a very like stable childhood, and it's caused like a lot of problems later growing up, and I've had sort of mental health, like serious mental health conditions. I know a lot of people struggle with their mental health, but having something where you're literally like hallucinating or like, you know, serious issues which are like really, really serious, like having those kind of experiences, like I don't think I've come from like the most privileged background. So I'm kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are 24 hours in a day, but if you've got to spend your 24 hours walking 3 hours to get water to drink, like of course you're not in the same 24 hours as someone who can turn the tap on. So it really depends on who you're comparing it to. And I was thinking this the other day actually, because what was I thinking? It was to do with like driving lessons or something. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I was thinking there was people in my school who, that was it. My boyfriend's sister was learning to drive and she's like saving up for all her driving lessons, and there's people whose parents would just pay for their driving lessons and then they can drive at like 17, so they can drive to like their part-time job, and then they're, you know, from 17 they're able to have a part-time job and perhaps their dad's got them in a company, or there's all these opportunities that opened up so much earlier. So they learn to be more confident, and then therefore when they go into a real job interview when they're like 23 or something, they're more confident, they're more likely to get it, compared to someone who's been like saving up, working, maybe they don't pass their driving test until 20, so they can't access more opportunities. So the privilege in terms of, you know, people having 24 hours in the day, people have to spend their 24 hours a day doing completely different things. And it's not until you like build yourself up to a point where you can then outsource those things. Literally, I'm at the point where it sounds so bad, I don't want to do like washing anymore.
Yeah.
And I was looking the other day, like, is there someone who can just come and do my washing? I don't have as much money as people probably think I do. I really don't. But like, if I can just pay someone 20 quid to do my washing, like that would enable me to grow my business more. So it is about like looking at what you're spending your 24 hours a day on. If you're sitting on watching Netflix, fine, people need to relax, but you do have to understand that there's like a trade-off between relaxing and putting effort into something. If you're not coming home and working on your dreams in some way, it doesn't have to be like a side business, but everybody's got a dream. Mm-hmm. If you're not working on your dream in your spare time because you're just sitting doing like absolutely nothing, then you kind of haven't really got an excuse.
Yeah.
But if you are spending those 24 hours like doing things you need to do because you can't afford to get other people to do it, like washing, childcare, cleaning up like kids sick, or just stuff where you're like, my God, like this is what I've got to spend the next hour of my day doing. Or like the other day, like I was planning on putting Luna to bed and then cracking on with some work. She threw a tantrum, threw her water all over the bed. I then had to like spend the next hour like changing the bed sheets, and I was like, well, that's my evening gone now. Whereas, and I know I didn't choose to have a child, but I accidentally had a child, so that's my choice. But like everyone does have different things to do in the day. So it's a really hard point to comment on, because it does just depend on privileges, and people have different things to do. But equally, there is a point of like, if you want something enough, you can find a way to do it. We were saying earlier, people find problems rather than solutions. Mm-hmm. And if you can somehow find a way, it's not like not everybody can access that, but if you can find a way, like you sometimes can. But yeah, it's a tricky point. I think it kind of came across wrong because it just ignored the fact that there's so many other things, so many other factors in success than just if you want it you can have it kind of thing.
I think it was relative. It's all relative to your circumstances, isn't it? And I think the point Molly Mae was trying to get across was like, if you do use every hour that you do have spare, if you invest that into something like your dream or doing a side hustle or your business or even just climbing the ladder of the employment that you're in, you can get a lot further. I think that was kind of the message she was trying to put across. And I think
so. I think she did put it. I can see why people took it in a negative
context.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think the way you've explained that is absolutely spot on.
And also, you're kind of living proof of that, because you did have a kid, you did have a partner, you left your job, going into the world of working alone, and you've found success in that. And little anecdotes of putting your kid to bed, that's just wiped out your evening. All these little things would have happened, I'm sure, along that journey.
Yeah.
But you've managed to keep going with the momentum, and you forged a business out of it. So it can be done.
Yeah.
But it's all down to mindset, and not everyone wants to do their own business. Some people want to work with for other people. So
sometimes I wish I didn't have this mindset, because my boyfriend, he's really hardworking. He does all the overtime and stuff. He works for the NHS.
Yeah.
So hardworking, but he comes home and he's done. He can't do an X-ray at home, so he can't bring his work home.
Can't bring it back. Yeah.
And I'm like, he gets paid every month. He gets a good, I'm like, I kind of wish I could just go home and go to work and come home, but I just can't. And people are like, you need to switch off, and I can, but also I can't.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to both paths.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I think one of the key things with that Molly Mae situation is there's an art in communication, isn't there? And it's how you communicate your point. And I think you've communicated what she was trying to say
very well.
In a very positive way.